Okay, today I picked up the quote, "Honesty is the best policy." Now I'm going to be brutally honest, I despise this quote because this is honestly very untrue. Honesty isn't always the best policy. Now I'm going to show this off in three different ways. First of all, I'm going to be looking at girls. After that, I'll be looking at college, and then I'll finish this off with a certain person that I like to point out. Now, my first point here is about the fact that girls are very emotional people. And sometimes if you are brutally honest with them and point out, okay, I'm sorry, but you really did a horrible job with your hair today, they're going to come out and straight up slap you. That was not the right choice right there. I mean, honestly, honesty isn't the best policy, especially with girls that are super sensitive and don't really want this negative content onto them, even if it is the honest to God truth. And by having this kind of a honesty is the best policy idea mentally put down in this quote in the world, then we're going to see a lot more troubles with being brutally honest. For example, if we look at what happened in the wartime, for example, whenever people had gotten caught and they had to be tortured to get the word out, they weren't honest about the answers they gave, which saved us countless lives because guess what? They didn't believe into that quote of honesty is the best policy. They decided to keep their information false so that they didn't know what was going on and go and scavenge into the bunkers that these people are trying to hide by giving away the actual coordinates of what's going on. Honesty isn't the best policy. My next point here is about college. Now, college is one of those things where you go into there to get the education, to get the degree, and then to get yourself into a job. It's that second step after you get out of high school. However, high school is all about being like no plagiarism, don't cheat, and all that kind of stuff. However, when you're in college, a lot of these professors aren't really there to be able to teach you very much. They're mainly there to be doing their own research. And because of that, they're not trying to catch you in your act of cheating and not being honest. And in this case here, this is one of the biggest things that a lot of people forget about, is that college you're trying to get through and you have to use the knowledge that you get from other people to be able to make yourself smarter. And by having that, you can be unhonest to be able to get and achieve farther than what you were doing before. And that makes this scenario another point that just goes to show why honesty isn't the best policy. My last point here is specifically about this guy. He's an anonymous kid, so I'm gonna call him Billy. Now, Billy, he despised school with a passion, but his parents was always driven him. It's like, you have to go to school, you have to go to school. If you don't go to school, you're gonna fail. If you don't go to school, you're gonna fail. Well, Billy, honestly, he went out and partied with his friends. He went out and played games and did all these kind of things. And his parents had no clue what was going on because, you know, little Billy would come home and be like, yeah, I went to school and did blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And at this point in time, Billy's parents are just like, wonderful, great job, awesome. Well, when Billy got out of the period that he was supposed to be in high school, instead, he was playing video games all that time. He ended up getting himself into a position that gained him a lot of money and a lot of awards based on his achievements in the video games and the acts that he had actually done instead of going to school. And because of the fact that he wasn't honest with his parents, he was able to succeed in an area that he was actually good at. Another case which just goes to show why honesty isn't the best policy. So in conclusion here, I have to entirely disagree with this quote. Honesty isn't the best policy. By bringing that up, we can see in the lives of girls that we can just hurt their feelings by not being sensitive with what they think about. We're also going to have to succeed some way in college. Remember, these people aren't aiming to teach you as much. They're trying to research, and that's just part of their job. And so honestly, honesty isn't the best policy. And last but not least, little Billy here wouldn't have been successful if he was honest with his parents and went to school. In this case, he found what he was actually good at and got himself into a position to be successful and actually award himself. So, honesty is the best policy, is not always the best policy.